And yeah, we do all the martial arts. We do a lot of kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, MMA.
Yeah.
We got some good up-and-coming fighters. Got my wife out there. She fights for Bellator now. She's doing it, and so we're keeping it within the family. So it's good. It's good.
So just a quick question.
Yeah.
Your wife.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that. Obviously, she has a Muay Thai background. I've seen her fight, bro. Obviously, she can kick, but she's got good hands.
All right.
I really appreciate her hands.
Yeah.
How do you handle your wife getting in there and competing?
It's getting a little more difficult as the talent moves up, and she's kind of on the big stage now, and she's been dominating for a little bit. So, now that the level's going up, it gets a little rough checking her out. But she does great. She does great. I'm confident in her skill, and she's been doing her jiu-jitsu, and I think MMA might be for her, so it's cool.
Do you train her?
I train her in the grappling MMA, but it's tough when it comes to the striking. We start getting into it. Sometimes it's not good for them. It's couples therapy at times, and sometimes it's bad. It's cool though.
Nah, that's good stuff, bro.
Yeah.
Nate, what's up, man? Tell us a little bit about the boxing license. You obviously just got your license not too long ago. In California. A lot of people want to know, is that real? What's the latest with that?
Well, the thing was, I was in some negotiation issues with the UFC, and I was talking to some boxing promotions and stuff, and I talked to the UFC about it, and they were not having it at all. So recently they got the Conor thing with Floyd Mayweather, and that's going viral. So I said, hold on, this is the same thing I just tried to do years ago, and you guys are gung-ho about it with him, but you guys are never let me. So I'm like, well, if he's got his boxing license, I don't even want nothing to do with that fight, but I'm going to get mine too and get in on that, And if they're not going to let me in on it, then I think it'll show. What I've been saying, that the UFC been holding back on promoting me, and they're just pushing him and handing him everything. So I was just going to sit. I'm just keeping my options open,
But you would be willing to fight.
I'm willing
professionally
to fight.
if something opened up that made sense.
Either one. Like, I've been sparring with top-ranked boxers for a lot of years, and just like I've been training with top-ranked martial artists for a lot of years. So I'm open to keep fighting in martial arts or going into boxing also.
Obviously, you guys have come up together. The Scrap Pack.
Scrap Pack, yeah.
Scrap Pack.
Yeah, there you go.
Some people have said that may be the tightest group of guys in the MMA. Through the ups and downs, you guys stick together. You guys obviously help each other, in the fight game. You guys help each other improve. How did that come about, and how have you guys stayed so close-knit? Yeah,
man, it all started, Cesar Gracie fight team. We always represent the Gracie fighter out there, and and it's I think we're pretty authentic. We all started as white belts together. Well, I think Nick was a blue belt, and maybe Jake was a blue belt at the time. But we're grassroots. You talk about other Bay Area teams or whatever. We are authentic. We haven't really recruited like some people have came over. But we started together, and we've grown together, and no egos in the gym, and we just, we complement each other, our styles, so it's helped elevate our skill.
Nate, what have you seen just, watching Gilbert grow as a fighter and as a man, and you can jump in too. How's it been watching you guys just, evolve like that?
Yeah, it's good. I got Nick, Jake, and Gil, and they're all just a little bit older than me, so I just kind of watch and follow the path of these guys. They're like my big brothers. I just kind of did what they did. Learn from the good things they did, learn from their mistakes, and I think vice versa. I think we'll pick up off each other's mistakes and good things, and I think that we all, he said, we complement each other, and we run off each other's momentum. So I think it's good.
Yeah, and just like you said in training, we complement each other, but we also complement each other just in life. We learn off each other, and we were all doing a different path than Nate, but now Nate's the man now, dude. He's took everything from everyone. He's took it to another level. So now he's a black belt in the business as well now with this. So we're all learning from each other, and we stick together, and we get to elevate our stock together. We're here with you together. It's cool.
I love it, bro. It's a beautiful thing to see, man. More from you guys in a little bit. Let's talk a little UFC 209. Undefeated lightweight Khabib Nurmagomedov was hospitalized last week after suffering complications during his weight cut. Doctors would not medically clear him to fight, and his interim title bout with Tony Ferguson was called off. A shocking setback for the Eagle, who fights out of San Jose. For more, let's send it over to Fallon Smith.
What's going on, Andre? Yeah, there's no question about it. UFC 209 fell short of expectations because Khabib was not on the card. Now, Tyrone Woodley, he defended his welterweight crown in a dull 5-round decision win over Stephen Thompson. But For a pair of Sacramento-based fighters, it was certainly a night to remember. Yes, Cynthia Calvillo won her UFC debut against Amanda Bobby Cooper. The Team Alpha Male product scored a first-round submission win with a rear naked choke. And in the prelims, perhaps the most remarkable MMA comeback in years. Darren Elkins took a lopsided beating for 2 rounds before scoring a dramatic knockout victory in the 3rd and final round. It was awesome. From the cage to the squared circle, Keith Thurman taking on Danny Garcia in a welterweight title unification bout on national television. One time dominated the early rounds, but then took his foot off the gas, allowing Garcia back into the fight. In the end, Thurman was awarded a split decision victory. Garcia says he wants a rematch. Here's a look at the upcoming NorCal fight schedule. Coming up this Friday, San Jose's Andy Vences defends his title against Angel Hernandez. And then on April 8th, the American Kickboxing Academy product Daniel Cormier defends his light heavyweight crown in a rematch against Anthony Johnson at UFC 209. Now, Cormier won their first meeting via submission. That's it for me, Andre. Back to you.
I'll talk a little bit about rematches. I potentially have a mega rematch on the horizon. We'll see how that goes. Obviously, you both have had rematches before, and you were part of a tremendous trilogy, you know. First of all, tell us what that trilogy was like. What did it feel like getting in the ring with a guy that you obviously knew intimately in that ring? He knew you. How did you approach the second and third fight?
Yeah, you learn from your mistakes, as they say, and the person in the rematch who learns from his mistakes the most can be most effective. And I lost my first match with Josh Thompson. He did everything right, so I had the most to improvise on or to correct. And it was a great feeling, coming back my second fight and beating him. And then the third one was actually really competitive. He brought back something to the table. I did a lot of things right. He had some tricks, so. But I was able to, squeak it out, and I also made my my adjustments as well. But I enjoy rematches. Most of my rematches I've been successful with. A couple guys that beat me, I avenged a couple losses.
2 for 2?
Yeah, 2 for 2. That's correct.
You obviously had a tremendous rematch against McGregor. Talk a little bit about the business side. You win the first one. Not a lot of people thought you were going to win. So when you come to the table with the UFC, what's the approach? How do you get the upper hand leading into the rematch?
As far as business goes, yeah, well, they needed the rematch to happen. I didn't need that rematch to happen. So,
of course.
And I went into it knowing, too, if I didn't win by finish or something, that they were going to put it his way. So, so that made me even stronger in the negotiations. You guys ain't going to give me nothing, so you're going to have to give me something.
One last question on this note, and then we'll transition. Like, even right now, I won the first fight. If you listen to the noise, you listen to the media, you listen to, the social media, oh, you're scared, you're ducking them. Obviously, for a fighter, I know the truth.
Right.
Like, we've been doing this most of our lives. It's not a scared bone in any of our bodies, going into a fight. But how do you deal with that stuff when you hear that noise out there? You know something is different inside. How do you deal with the noise?
I just think about, I'm not turning down any fight ever, but they might be turning down the deal.
Yeah.
So it's on them.
Yeah.
It's out of my hands.
Yeah.
Because I'll fight, but will you pay?
Yeah, right now they don't even want to come to the table, and it's like they're hiding Conor from him. You know what I mean? So it's an interesting situation.
Yeah.
But I think the fans want it, the people want it. Maybe they don't want it.
Yeah, and I'm not asking, and it's still everywhere.
Exactly.
I'm not asking,
Now, obviously, we just talked a little bit about UFC 209, Khabib, the weight. You keep hearing these things from Dana, and I think he said a little bit out of his camp that he didn't cut the weight the right way. How do you not cut weight the right way for the people listening at home? Yeah,
I'm not, I feel bad he went to the hospital and people are, scared for him, but I'm not that sympathetic, towards it, because this is our job. We have two things, show up and fight and make weight. That's our job. You got, 8-week training camp to get ready, and you got 8 weeks to diet properly. Now, I'm not saying every weight cut's been perfect for me, but, when I'm serious and I got a lot on the line, I'll make weight and it'll be great, And then sometimes if my heart's not in it, maybe I don't cut weight that well. I don't even train that well, and that's happened. It's a long journey, So, You know, you got to be perfect with it. But there's a science behind it, and guys are getting bigger at it. They're getting better at it. You know, and you know, Nate can talk. I'm at 55s right now, and I'm not cutting that much to get there. Nate is a big 55er, and you know, and I've seen him cut weight multiple times, and you know, he could probably talk about it. You know, perfecting it, hitting and missing on it. You know. Yeah,
obviously you got a lot of height. You know, and I'm sure you, like you just said, you cut a lot. But like, where do you want to be the week of the fight? How many pounds out?
I try to diet farther out and get as close as I can, and then when I go week of the fight, I try to be within 6 to 7, 8 pounds.
Yeah.
And I want to have an easier week, harder month, easier week. You know.
Before I let you guys go, I gotta ask you about Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather, the fight that everybody's talking about. Obviously, you have boxing icon Floyd Mayweather taking on the Irish superstar Conor McGregor. Here's the tale of the tape. McGregor with the height and reach advantage, southpaw versus orthodox matchup. Mayweather has the perfect record, tons of experience. So just how would a fight between these two, Mayweather and McGregor, play out? If Mayweather and McGregor fight with boxing rules in a boxing ring, does McGregor have a shot at all with Floyd Mayweather, or is this just some type of publicity stunt?
I think it is a big publicity stunt, but my take on a boxing match between the two, I think McGregor, I think he's good, and he's got a good chance to make something happen in 2 or 3 rounds. But I think
so.
I think if anything, 2 or 3 rounds. But I think he's got an amateur style where he's only got the good movement, good punches for 6, 8 minutes, and I think that's too amateur for Mayweather. I'm just saying he's got a puncher's chance, if anything.
Yeah, exactly. A lucky punch.
If anything. But as far as skill and technique, like he's got an amateur style. And, like anybody could be good for 9, 6, 7 minutes. Anybody, and they all have that puncher's chance. But this guy's ready to go round after round, and he's gonna be a hard person to get a hold of. So I think it's gonna be a rough one.
Absolutely.
But who knows?
Who knows? That's the thing about combat sports. Gil, MMA rules in an octagon. Does Floyd stand a chance at all?
Yeah, the same thing. You know, Floyd has a great, you know, puncher's chance. You know, I mean, he has a beautiful straight right. He has a great boxing, of course. If he can hit him with the little gloves, it could be lights out, you know. But it's just different in the cage, you know. James Toney fought Randy Couture once. He stepped into the octagon in there. It didn't go too well. You know, Randy Couture did something slick. He got real low and just did an ankle pick and took him down. He had nothing to do, you know, had nothing to answer for on that point, you know. So if I'm Conor, I don't have my ego doesn't step in. I try to lay kick and I try to be very conservative, almost avoid all striking and try to take you down. And but in the process, if he catches a straight or hard counter punch from Floyd in those little gloves, you know, it can be lights out, of course.
Have problems. Now, this is a hypothetical situation, highly hypothetical. If I decided to come into the octagon for one fight, I'm gonna ask you both a question. Start with you, Gil. What would be the first thing that you would have me work on if I worked in your gym and said, look, my hands are good, I know nothing else? All
right, so, I mean, there'd be a few things, you know, but the first thing I'd be like, okay, you're not gonna become a kicker, but we gotta have to learn to deal with the kicks. So I'd be like, okay, Andre, you know, you don't.
Give me a little example.
Okay, so you know,
I'm in my traditional boxing
so you're a traditional boxing stance. Now your lead leg is a little bit more open to these leg kicks, you know. So these guys are trying to step here and they're trying to kick you around here. So if someone were to try to kick me, I'd say, Andre, you got to turn your leg out a little bit and learn to check that.